Hello, I'm Randy McClure. Welcome to the latest supply chain tech brief.
Let's dive into a massive shift that pretty much every business needs to be making right now, and it's all about data. For way too long, we've seen it as this messy byproduct, kind of like the digital exhaust from our systems. It's time to start treating it as what it really is, your single most valuable strategic asset. So let's start with a big question. Why is so much corporate data a complete and utter mess? I mean, companies spend absolute fortunes on the latest and greatest tech, but the data they get is still disjointed, duplicated, and a lot of the time totally useless for getting real insights. It's a huge common frustration, right? Let's unpack why this keeps happening and, more importantly, what we can do to fix it. So here's the core paradox. Companies are pouring billions, literally billions of dollars into technology to get more efficient, but what do they end up with? More complexity. And why? Well, it's because the data these incredible systems create is treated like an afterthought, just digital exhaust from the real work of the application. And this gets us to a hidden problem when it's buried deep inside most technology strategies. Let's really dig in and get to the root cause of all this data chaos. The whole problem really starts at the very beginning, in project planning. Think about it. If you've ever seen a typical IT project charter, it's packed with goals for what the application has to do, but it almost never ever includes specific measurable goals for the data it creates and manages. Okay, let's look at a super concrete example. Here's a typical supply chain project. The goals are awesome, right? Cut costs, reduce downtime, slash waste. All fantastic goals for the application. But here's the thing, look closely. What's missing? There are zero data deliverables, nothing about making sure supplier metrics are accurate, nothing about making sure demand forecasts are accessible to other systems. The data is just a side effect. And listen, this isn't just some minor oversight. We all love to say things like data is the new oil, but then we turn around and treat it like it's worthless. In this day and age, that is an absolute recipe for disaster, and the stakes could not be higher. And this leads to two really severe consequences. First, you get stuck in this vicious cycle where you just create more and more low quality byproduct data. And second, when you finally decide you want to use powerful data hungry tools like AI, you just hit a brick wall. Your data isn't ready, and the whole project is basically dead before it even starts. So, what this all boils down to is a core conflict. It's really a battle between two completely different mindsets. Is your data an asset, or is it just an afterthought? So, on one side, you've got the old way of thinking, the one we're trying to escape. We call it the application-centric mindset. Here, the software is king. All the focus is on its features and functions. And the result? Your most valuable data gets trapped inside these rigid, monolithic silos that can't talk to each other. It's a prison for your data. But the alternative, and really the only way forward, is the data-centric mindset. And this flips the entire script. It recognizes that data is the primary, enduring corporate asset. The focus shifts completely. Now it's all about making sure the data has integrity, that it's well defined, and that it's super accessible to any application that needs it. Not just today, but for any application you might have in the future. There's this quote from the source material that just nails it for me. It says, technology, software applications, and automation will come and go, but enterprise data will never grow obsolete. And it's so true, right? Your CRM might get replaced. Your big ERP system might be upgraded, but your customer data, your sales data, that is the permanent lifeblood of your entire organization. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually make this shift happen? Well, it's not just some vague idea. There's a practical 8 guideline blueprint you can follow. Let's walk through it. All right, let's get into it. The first 4 guidelines are all about reduction and improvement. Number 1, you've got to reduce the complexity and number of your data models. Simplify. Number 2, reduce data duplication. You have to aim for a single source of truth for your key data. 3, improve the quality of your critical data. And 4, reduce your software code base, streamline, and get rid of the complex code that creates all these data problems. That third one is so important, and it reminds me of this great quote from Karen Martin. When everything is a priority, nothing is a priority. You can't boil the ocean and fix all of your data at once. It's just not possible. By focusing on improving the quality of your most critical data first, you actually make real, tangible progress. All right, let's round out the list. Number 5, start favoring technologies and methods that are built for data centricity. 6, avoid application-centric security. You need to protect the data itself, not just the app, so it can be shared safely. 7. Minimize those brittle, expensive custom data integrations. And finally, number 8, and this one is so critical. Use measurable, understandable definitions for your key business terms. I want to zoom in on that last one for a second. Guideline number 8. It sounds so simple, almost too simple, but I promise you, this is the one where so many companies get tripped up. Why are clear definitions so absolutely crucial to get right? Just look at this. It's a dead simple example, but man, is it powerful. Imagine two partner companies trying to work together. For company A, an urgent order means ship this thing within 24 hours, no excuses. But for company B, it means as ship next available. The technology can be perfect, the software can be flawless, but if the humans don't even agree on what a word means, the whole thing falls apart. This is where systems break and service fails. Clear definitions are the bedrock of everything else. Okay, so you do all this work, you commit to this blueprint, and you start treating your data like the treasure it is. So, what's the payoff? What's on the other side of this transformation? Let's talk about what happens when you finally unlock your data's true power. Well, the payoff is absolutely huge. A data-centric company is agile. It can respond to market changes in a heartbeat. It's bold because it makes decisions with confidence backed by reliable data. It's simplified, which means you cut down on complexity and maintenance costs. It's innovative, truly ready for AI and whatever tech comes next. And most importantly, it becomes truly insightful, turning raw information into real, unprecedented business intelligence. So I guess I'll just leave you with this one final question to think about for your own organization. Right now, is your data an untapped strategic asset waiting to be unlocked, or is it just digital exhaust? The answer won't just define your data strategy, I think it's going to define your entire future.
Hello, this is Raymond McClure from SC Tech Insights. Thank you for listening. For more on this topic, click the article link below or go to www.sctechinsights.com for the latest insights on supply chain technology. Thank you and see you next time.